Hi friends, welcome back to SPK English Academy. In today's class, I'm going to discuss the great modern novel that is Ulysses by an Irish novelist, James Joyce. See, in every year's not in case at question paper, there is a question on this Ulysses or his other great novel that is A Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man or is any other works of James Joyce. So now we got to look at that is James Joyce's literary career and his other works and what is his importance in English literature. James Joyce was an Irish novelist, short story writer, poet and a literary critic. He contributed to the most to modern avant-garde moment and he is regarded as one of the most influential and important writers of the 20th century. Joyce is best known for Ulysses, which was published in 1922, a landmark work in which the episodes of Homer's Odyssey are paralleled in a variety of literary styles, most famously the stream of consciousness. So, the stream of consciousness is a new technique which is adopted and used immensely in the novels of modern novelists like Dorothy Richardson, Virginia Woolf and James Joyce. So, this technique is immensely used in the novels of James Joyce's Ulysses and also another novel that is A Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man. It is also used by another two novelists, that is Virginia Woolf. She used immensely this technique in her novels The Miss Dalloway and that is Virginia Woolf, and also Dorothy Richardson also used this technique. So Dorothy Richardson, James Joyce and Virginia Woolf. So these are the main exponents of that stream of consciousness technique or psychological novel of the 20th century English literature. See, other well-known works are the short story collections Dubliner, which was published in 1914. Dubliners, it is a short story collection, and other novels. The Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man. As a Young Man, it was published in 1916. And another one important novel of Joyce, that is Finnegan's Wake, published in 1939. His other writings include the 3 books of poetry, a play and published letters and occasional journalism. Joyce was born in Dublin into a middle-class family, a brilliant student. He briefly attended the Christian Brothers-run O'Connell School before excelling at the Jesuit schools Clongowes and Belvedere. Despite the chaotic family life imposed by his father's unpredictable finances, he went on to attend University of Dublin. So Dublin is the headquarter of all novels and his literary career. See, especially James Joyce, in 1904, his early 20s, Joyce emigrated to continental Europe with his partner and late wife Nora Barnacle. They lived in Trieste, Paris and Zurich. Although most of his adult life was spent abroad, Joyce's fictional universe centers on that is Dublin. Just I told you Dublin is the center of all novels and his literary career. So this present novel that is Ulysses is also set in the streets and areas of the Dublin and is populated largely by the characters who closely resemble family members, enemies and friends from his time there. Ulysses is particularly set with precision in the streets, alleyways of the city of that Dublin. Shortly after the publication of the Ulysses, he elucidated or praised this preoccupation with somewhat saying, he made his own statement on this Ulysses when it was published. So what? For myself, I always write about Dublin because if I cannot, I can get to the heart of the Dublin. I can get to the heart of all the cities of the world. In the particular is contained in the universe. So now I have to look at briefly the works of James Joyce. First we have to look at the prose works. Dubliners. It is a short story collection published in 1914. And another, that is great novel, that is A Portrait of an Artist as a Young Man, published in 1966. Its hero is Stephen Dedalus. It is called as also psychological novel and also Bildungsroman novel. And then a great novel now we are going to discuss, that is Ulysses, published in 1922. And another one minor novel, that is Finnegan's Wake, published in 1939, also restored in 2012. See his poetry collection. You know that he was a novelist, a playwright, and also poet critic also. So chamber music poems, Elkin Matthew, 1907. Giacomo Joyce, written in 1907, published by Faber and Faber in 1968. Poems, Penaeus Poems, Shakespeare and Company, 1927. Collected Poems, Black Sun Press, 1936, which includes chamber music, poems, penates, and other previously published works. So now glance at the characters in the novel of Ulysses. So in this novel there are many characters will come. Now we have to look at only the important characters of this novel. See, Leopold Bloom, a 38-year-old advertising canvasser or the agent in Dublin. And their characters, that is Marianne or Molly Bloom, Leopold Bloom's wife. Stephen Dedalus, an aspiring poet in his early 20s. Malachi Buck Mulligan, or shortly it is used as Buck in the novel. So that is, he is a medical student and a friend of Stephen. Some other characters. Hence, a folk student of Millicent or Millie Bloom. Millie, Leopold Bloom's 15-year-old daughter, who does not actually appear in the novel. And another one character is, that is Simon Dedalus. He is the father of Stephen Dedalus. So these are the important major characters of Ulysses. There are many minor characters also. I am not going to discuss those. Now directly we go to the summary of this novel. So you know this, when this novel was published in 20th century, it created its landmark in the history of English literature. And in this novel that James Joyce used the stream of consciousness technique immensely. So for this technique, this novel is also popular. And also you know that James Joyce was an Irish novelist. You remember this, he is an Irish novelist, he is also Irish writer. And this novel is set in one day only. It is set in Dublin, and it is the time is covered for only single day. So now to look at briefly the novel. See, Stephen Dedalus spends the early morning hours of June 16, 1904, remaining aloof from his mocking friend Buck and Buck's English acquaintance Haynes. As Stephen leaves for work, Buck orders him to leave the house key and meet them at the pub at 12:30. Stephen resents Buck. Around 10 a.m., Stephen teaches a history lesson to his class at Garrett Deasy's boys' school. After class, Stephen meets with Deasy to receive his wages. The narrow-minded and prejudiced Deasy lectures Stephen on life. Stepan agrees to take Daisy's editorial letter about cattle disease to acquaintances at the newspaper. Stepan spends the remainder of his morning walking alone on Sandy Mount Strand, thinking critically about his younger self and about his perception. He composes a poem in his head and writes it down on a scrap torn from Daisy's letter. At 8 a.m. the same morning, Leopold Bloom fixes the breakfast and brings his wife her mail and breakfast to bed. One of her letters is from Molly's concert tour manager Blazes Boylan. Bloom here suspects he is also Molly's lover. When he brought the letter and saw that, he suspected that Blaze Boylan is also lover of Molly. See here, Boylan will visit at 4 this afternoon. You can see Bloom returns downstairs, reads the letter from their daughter Millie, then goes to the house. At 10 a.m., Bloom picks up an amorous letter from the post office. He is corresponding with a woman named Martha Clifford under the pseudonym Henry Flower. He reads a tepid letter, ducks briefly into a church, then orders Molly's lotion from the pharmacist. He runs into Bentham Lyons, who mistakenly gets the impression that Bloom is giving him a tip on the horse throwaway in the afternoon's Gold Cup race. Around 11 a.m., Bloom rides with Simon Dedlas, that is Stefan's father, Martin Cunningham, and Jack Power to the funeral of Paddy Dignam. The men treat Bloom as somewhat of an outsider. At the funeral, Bloom thinks about the deaths of his son and his father. At noon, we find Bloom at the offices of Freeman newspaper. See here that Bloom is the agent of Freeman newspaper, negotiating an advertisement for Keys, a liquor merchant. Several idle men, including editor Miles Crawford, are hanging around in the office discussing political speeches. Bloom leaves to secure the advertisement. Stepan arrives at the newspaper with Daisy's letter. Stepan and other men leave for the pub just as Bloom is returning. Bloom's ad negotiation is rejected by Crawford on this way out. At 1 p.m., Bloom runs into Jesse Bream, an old flame, and they discuss Mina Pureway, who is in labor at the maternity hospital. Bloom stops in Burton's restaurant, but he decides to move on to Davy Burns for a light lunch. Bloom reminisces about an intimate afternoon with Molly on Hearth. Bloom leaves and is walking towards the National Library when he spots Boylan on the street and ducks into the National Museum. At 2 p.m., Stepan is informally presenting his Hamlet theory in the National Library to the poet A.E. and the librarian John Eglinton, Best, and Lister. A.E. is dismissive of Stepan's theory and leaves. Buck enters and jokingly scolds Stepan for failing to meet him and hence at the pub. On the way out, Buck and Stepan pass Bloom, who has come to obtain a copy of Key's ad. At 4 p.m., Simon Dedlas, Ben Dollard, Lenehan, and Blaze Boylan converge at the Ormond Hotel bar. Bloom notices Boylan's car outside and decides to watch him. Boylan soon leaves for his appointment with Molly, and Bloom sits morosely in the Ormond restaurant. He is briefly mollified by Dedlas's and Dollard's singing. Bloom writes back to Martha, then leaves to the post office. 5 p.m. Bloom arrives at Bernice Kiernon's pub to meet Martin Cunningham about the Dignam family finances, but Cunningham has not yet arrived. The citizen, a belligerent Irish nationalist, becomes increasingly drunk and begins attacking Bloom's Jewishness. Bloom stands up to the citizen, speaking in favor of peace and love over xenophobic violence. Bloom and the citizen have an altercation on the street before Cunningham's carriage carrier Bloom's away. Bloom relaxes on the Sandymount strand around sunset after his visit to Mrs. Dignam's house nearby. A young woman, Gertie McDowell, notices Bloom watching her from across the beach. Gertie subtly reveals more and more of her legs while Bloom surreptitiously masturbates. Gertie leaves and Bloom does. At 10 p.m., Bloom wanders to the maternity hospital to check on Mina Purepoy. Also at the hospital are Stepan and several of his medical student friends, drinking and talking boisterously about subjects related to birth. Bloom agrees to join them, though he privately disapproves their revelry in light of Mrs. Purepoy's struggle upstairs. Buck arrives and the men proceed to Buck's pub. At closing time, Stepan convinces his friend Lynch to go to the brothel section of town and Bloom follows, feeling protective. Bloom finally locates Stepan and Lynch at Bella's Cohen's brothel. Brothel means the house of prostitutes. Stepan is drunk and imagines that he sees the ghost of his mother full of rage. He shatters a lamp with his walking stick. Bloom runs after Stepan and finds him in an argument with a British soldier who knocks out him. Bloom revives Stepan and takes him for coffee at a Cobman's shelter to sober up. Bloom invites Stepan back to his house. Well after midnight, Stepan and Bloom arrives back at Blacken's house. They drink cocoa and talk about their respective backgrounds. Bloom asks Stepan to stay at night. Stepan politely refuses. Bloom sees him out and comes back in to find evidence of Balon's visit. Still, Bloom is at peace with the world and he claims went to bed, tells Molly of his day and requests breakfast in bed. After Bloom falls asleep, Molly remains awake. She did not sleep. Surprised by Bloom's request for breakfast in bed, her mind wanders to her childhood in Gibraltar, her afternoon of sex with Bolon, her singing career, Stepan Deadless. Her thoughts of Bloom vary widely over the course of the monologue, but it ends with a reminiscence of their intimate moment at Howth and a positive. So this is the story of or the summary of Ulysses by James Joyce. So please watch the video from beginning to end, then you will understand the clear story and the clear relations of the characters. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, you do subscribe now and also share this video if you like it and also like the videos.